I'll tell you why. Because when you don't know them or think of them as human, you do treat them in ways that are more transactional.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
want we want the humanness, because
Yeah.
that's where your creativity and talent is. So
Hmm.
when you can maximize the humanness of the people on your team, you're going to get a lot more success, way more revenue, way more metrics met, way more schedules. All of that is better because they get to tap on more. So we start with recognizing who's there, and then we start the process of being really clear so that people share clarity, not just everybody's looking at the same bullet points. Okay, we all got it. No, no, no. Do we have it?
Hmm.
How do you recite it to your team? How do they recite it to their team? What is your team saying back to you? And are we aligned on the decisions that were made, on the schedule, on the what's first, and then where we have challenges and where we're working on it, and where we have behavioral challenges, gossip, complaining, politics, being in meetings and never saying a word. That's an interesting behavior. So we're going to
Hmm.
start talking about those openly so that we can move things along much faster. At that point, the leader gets to begin to talk about holding people accountable. It's not fair to go after holding people accountable when they don't have clarity. It's not fair to hold people accountable if they don't have what they need to do the work.
Hmm.
It's not fair to hold people accountable if they're always off by themselves and they don't even really know you. They really don't know what you're thinking or what you need
Right.
or how you think their work is. How is it fair that you're holding them accountable? But rather than day one start to hold people accountable, day one we start with putting the building blocks in place.
Right.
And then that starts to gain traction.
Hmm.
It starts to change some of the habits of not being held accountable, some of the habits of having conversations that are awkward. They start to feel awkward, but eventually they're less awkward.
Yeah.
Eventually they become normalized. And at the point that you start to normalize with your team members what's really happening, what the situation is on the ground, what's working well, and what is needed, and making sure that we're rowing in the direction of the leader, what happens is those team members start to hold each other accountable.